What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is yours truly, Fitz. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm back. Just a little bit of a 4-day hiatus, just kind of relaxing. Work. I worked like 12 hours, which is completely different out of the normal for me. So I was a little tired on that. But we've got a lot to talk about. Team Rocket. They're actually quite challenging to battle if you're not quite sure what Pokemon they're going to use. You could think you have a really strong team and end up getting whooped. That's because their Pokemon are a lot stronger than yours, and that's done on purpose. So you have to be careful with what Pokemon you choose, and I'm going to help you guys overall be able to decide what Pokemon you should choose. And if you're still unsure, because sometimes Team Rocket does pick random Pokemon, even though you think you know what they're going to throw out, I have a generalized team that you can build that will win every single time. So first off, let's go over what Pokemon Team Rocket can throw out, and it's right here. Trainer Tips did a video on this, and this is access to you guys. But basically what this is, and I'll link this article in the description down below. Sometimes I'm really bad at doing that, so if it's not there right away, please give me a minute. But these are the sayings that Team Rocket can say, and if you memorize these, you know what Pokemon they're going to throw out. Let's just go over a couple of the most common ones, because not all of these are actually released in the game, believe it or not. So let's go over the common ones that are out right now, so you can prepare for what Pokemon might be coming ahead. So first off, Dragon. Roar, how'd that sound? So you're looking for Dratini, Dragonair, and Dragonite. That's honestly what I've run into. I've run into the whole Dragonite evolution line. So you can safely bet that you can use Ice types. Fairy types are really good, but here's the kicker. Dragonite can have Steel Wing, and it really hurts, like, a lot. So it would hurt your Ice types and your Fairy types. But, I mean, if you load out all the way, you're going to destroy Dratini, and you're going to destroy Dragonair just using your Frost Breath or Ice Shard, depending on the Pokemon you use, quite quickly. So the Dragonite's not gonna wipe you out the whole time, and you guys get shields too, because Team Rocket doesn't shield. So Ice and Fairy types, especially Gardevoir, Articuno, Mamoswine, stuff like that will do just fine against this one. One of the other common ones is Normal. Normal doesn't mean weak. So what could you come up against in Normal? Rattatas, Raticates, and Snorlax. Snorlax is pretty tough. So definitely throw a fighting type Pokemon in there. I would just lead with Machamp, honestly. Your Machamp might faint once it comes to Snorlax, especially depending on what move it has. If it has Lick, it still actually hurts a lot, but if it has Zen Headbutt, it's probably going to like 4-shot your Machamp. It's going to hurt really bad. But I would start off with Machamp, because you're going to get through the Rattatas or the Raticates pretty well. And Machamp also resists the Dark type moves, the Bites, because Bites hurt really badly if it's doing neutral damage towards you. So leave with the Machamp, and then you could use whatever Pokemon after that. Using Dragon types isn't a bad idea, because they do high damage. So definitely lead with Machamp, it'll make it a lot easier. Water. These waters are treacherous, so we can come across Squirtle in the evolution line, so Wartortle and Blastoise. We can come across Mudkip in its evolution line. So you kind of want to be careful with this. I would definitely go with a grass type instead of an electric type, because grass types resist the water damage anyway. Electric types do not, which is interesting. So definitely go with the grass types like Venusaur with Frenzy Plant, because in PvP, Frenzy Plant does really well at charging up quickly and firing those off. And like I said, Team Rocket doesn't use shields, at least not yet. So it doesn't make it that much of a challenge if you get those Frenzy Plants off, because they hurt a lot. So also another Tangrowth is pretty good. Any high leveled grass type that has good moves. Sceptile. So there you go. So Sceptile with Leaf Blade and Frenzy Plant. Use Fury Cutter as a quick move. And then use Venusaur with Razor Leaf or Vine Whip. It's up to you. Both those moves are fantastic with Frenzy Plant. That's what I'd use against water if you get this saying, these waters are treacherous. Without a doubt, I'd go with those. Also, I forgot about the fire. Is it even in here? Yeah, okay. So fire, do you know how hot Pokemon fire breath can get? I can't ever really say that right. So that's obviously Charmander in its evolution line. And just use water types. Water types is fine. So we're looking at Swampert. Swampert's really good to use against this. Use a Water Gun and Hydro Cannon. And that's one that we all have access to now because we just had Swampert Community Day. So without a doubt, go with that one. You could use ground types like Groudon. Groudon's really good. Surprisingly, with Mudshot and Earthquake, Earthquake gets up there pretty quickly. You can fire it off quite quick because of Mudshot. So ground and water, absolutely you won't have any issues. And I guess I forgot about grass too, because don't tangle with us. That'll be Bulbasaur and its evolution line. Just go with straight fire types on that one, without a doubt. Entei, Moltres. Moltres would be fantastic because you could use Fire Spin, you could use Wing Attack, and then you could use Overheat. And I would personally use Sky Attack if you have access to that. So these aren't too difficult, but where things get difficult is sometimes it says something a little bit different. Like this challenge is not going to be easy, or I can't remember quite what it is, but what they say is different from all of this. And what you could run into is they throw out a Charizard, a Venusaur, and a Blastoise, an Ivysaur, a Wartortle, and a Charizard. Like, it's random. And you'll know something's wrong when you don't see any of these, and they're going to pick a random amount of Pokemon, and you're not going to be able to prepare for it. Well, have no fear. I'm going to go over some Pokemon that you could throw in a team together however way you want that will do just fine. Because right now, there are no electric Pokemon, there are no fairy, there are no ice, and there are no rock, which makes Honchkrow really good. And the thing about Honchkrow is it's got really good stats, and the moves are really good too for PvP. Now you can run Snarl. Snarl is good for gaining the energy for Honchkrow. Sky Attack is going to do super effective damage to like the Grass family, the Bulbasaur family. So that's where that comes in. Psychic actually would do the same too for Ivysaur and Venusaur. And then Dark Pulse is in there. So I would run Snarl with Sky Attack and Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse doing mass heavy neutral DPS, because that's what we're going for. If we could do super effective damage, that's fine, but we're going for mass neutral DPS, so the other opponent's Pokemon isn't taking or is taking the most amount of damage possible instead of not taking not very effective damage, right? So we're trying to do neutral damage or super effective only while not taking super effective damage, and that's where Honchkrow comes in. Next is Alolan Muck. Because of its poison and dark type, it is only weak to ground, and okay, so you could come across this because of like Mudshot, Mud Bomb, Marshtomp, or Mudshot, I think just Earthquake for Swampert. So you could come across this, but let me tell you right now, the Mudkip one is very rare to begin with. But this Pokemon would still do rather well because of its moves and how quickly you can get these off. First off, you can use Poison Jab, which is a fantastic move. Couple that with Dark Pulse, and Acid Spray is interesting because it lowers the defense. So if you lower the defense of your opponent's Pokemon, you can finish them off just with your fast move. So Alolan Muck kind of fits a niche, and especially with it only being weak to ground, makes it really good for neutral matchups. Next up is Machamp. Now this is interesting because I mentioned this for the normal, but Machamp's pretty good. It's only weak to Flying, Psychic, and Fairy. And a move that you guys are come across a lot that does heavy neutral damage against you, unless you have the right Pokemon, is Bite. Bite hurts like hell. It hurts a lot. But Machamp resists that. So even if you're coming across like a flying type Pokemon like Zubats and stuff, you can still do okay because you have Counter and Rock Slide. Now Dynamic Punch is great too, and I would have that. I would just put 2 moves on your Machamp. Have Dynamic Punch, Rock Slide with Counter, and you'll do just fine. Machamp is very good for doing neutral DPS too because it's such a strong Pokemon. Now, like I said, you could throw any of these Pokemon together any way you want, and you'll do just fine. Next up is Aggron. This is interesting because Aggron was not meant to be very good at PvP. Like, people despise this Pokemon, but hear me out. It's weak to fighting. We don't have to worry about that. Weak to ground and water. Just the Mudkip family. Like I said, it's already rare, and if you can, if you can already anticipate that with the water, these waters are treacherous, you're already gonna know what's coming. But when you don't know what's coming, is where this comes in. Now, granted, Aggron is actually not weak to fire. That's fantastic. So it's the steel resistances that makes this nice. The steel typing, excuse me. And the moves. Because the Zubat family is so common to do, and we're all just trying to do as many as we possibly can, Smackdown does a ton of damage. I can win with one Aggron and go through the entire Zubat family line. with SmackDown and only doing SmackDown. So that's fantastic. And I would give it Stone Edge and Heavy Slam just for some extra coverage. But SmackDown Aggron and its typing and its high defense is fantastic. You can't go wrong. Next up is Weavile because of its typing as well. Now you can come across Fire. You can come across Steel only with the, the Dratini line, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. You're not going to come across Bug, you're not going to come across Fairy. But it resists Psychic, Dark, Ghost, and Ice. And Dark's a big one because of the bite. And you probably won't come across really any of these too. Now Weavile has some hefty stats. So that's another reason why this is on the list. And also, with the viability that this Pokemon has, you run Ice Shard and then run Foul Play. So two things can happen. You're doing super effective damage with your Ice Shard against the Flying or the Dragon types, and you're pretty much wiping them out with Ice Shard alone. Then you got Foul Play for one-hit KO basically, because you're doing Stab and doing neutral damage. There's not really going to be an instance where you're going to come across that Foul Play is not doing not very effective damage. Maybe against a Dark type, but what Dark types have we coming across? Have we come across any Dark types? No. So this will always do neutral damage, and that's the point. You're trying to win and do neutral damage or better, so you don't have to worry about fainting. Because all these moves hurt really, really bad. And then this one's a sleeper. I want to do a sleeper pick. Armaldo. We all have plenty of candies for this. At least you should. Armaldo actually has pretty good stats. Look at that CP. Did you remember that? That's fantastic. It's weak to rock, steel, and water, so look out for Mudkip family. And I forgot the Squirtle family too whenever it's water. It resists normal and poison, so this would be good against normal types, doing the normal quests, or the normal battles, excuse me, for Team Rocket, which is extremely common. Now it has Fury Cutter, one of the best fast moves in all of PvP. And then you can couple this with Cross Poison, and Rock Blast. Rock Blast, of course, doing super effective to Fire, to Flying, Charmander line, Zubat line. Bingo. And it charges up very quick too because of Fury Cutter. Same thing with Cross Poison. Cross Poison just charges up extremely fast, and you can use this against the, did you guess it? Bulbasaur line. Of course, this is going to do neutral damage, but this charges up so fast, it's absolutely insane. So you have a mix here, which is fantastic. And that's why I think Armaldo is a sleeper pick. It doesn't have very many weaknesses as opposed to what's available, so it's definitely a good pick. So there you guys have it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. What would be your neutral team that you would use that could win any battle no matter what happens? Here are some picks here. Let me know what your guys' is down in the comment section down below again. Smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Be a part of the Fitz City fam. That's it, the boy Fitz City. I'm signing off. See you guys in the next Pokemon Go video.